Yeah. Too late to buy the dip, you missed the rise, bruh. You was asleep while I bled, now you crying for advice, huh? Too late to ride the wave, you was clowning when I tried, bruh. Now I'm trading jets, you still begging for a lifeline. 25 to life in these stocks, no parole, no white line. I gave my whole soul to this, slept in red just to wake in green. While y'all laughed at my loss, I was building in the in-between. Woke up with my wrist sore, charting through the bloodstreams. Gave you free game, now you DM me for live streams. Nah, you ain't ride through the famine when the screen bled. You ain't grind through the panic, heart racing on a thread. You was faking trades, chasing pump tweets instead. I was risking full accounts, writing wheel type spreads. You don't know the pain of that Friday close. Margin calls like ghosts, breathing down my nose. Penny flippers on TikTok, talking get rich, bro. While I fought demons on the 1 minute flow. Too late to buy the dip, you missed the signs, bruh. I was grinding the charts, now I'm grinding with the lines, bruh. Too late to click join, this a shark pool now. We don't welcome no tourists in the war zone crowd. 25 to life, I bled in this trade route. They want the game, but they don't want the grit. Want the yacht, not the 6 months drawdown pit. I seen portfolios fold like origami in May. Meanwhile, I was scalping hell with no stop loss prey. I ain't your guru, don't ask for alerts. You want $1 million dreams with no spreadsheet work. You sell for 2 cents and flex like you a beast. I hold through a rug pull just to feast on the feast. Took a trade in the dark like a shaman on acid. Saw God in the red and came back feeling massive. All my enemies watched while I grew through the static. Now they tryna ride my gains? That shit's trash. You ain't believe when I lost 10 bands of silence. Now you cheer when I post green like you was riding. You was hating while I doubled down in defiance. Now I ghosted you, bruh. Call that price realignment. I divorced the doubt like it cheated with fear. Filed papers with the market, now I'm married to the clear. I was crying in the charts, now I'm legend in the peer list. You still stuck on Discord begging for a near miss. Too late to buy the dip, you missed the rise, bruh. You was asleep while I bled, now you crying for advice, huh? Too late to ride the wave, you was clowning when I tried, bruh. Now I'm trading jets, you still begging for a lifeline. 25 to life in these stocks, no parole, no white line.
Oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, my little egg McMuffins, my little huevos rancheros, my little glasses of sangria, whatever you want to be this morning, whatever you identify as, it is good by me. It is a beautiful Tuesday, July the 29th, all day. Check your calendars, but I promise you, we're going to be crushing it today. I'm excited for today. I don't really know why. I don't have that good of a reason. I just have a feeling in my gut that I'm going to make a shitload of money. I don't know who else in the audience has that particular feeling today. Maybe we're delusional. Maybe we're schizophrenic. Maybe we should see a psychiatrist. That's all possible. But what's also possible is the fact that we might be right. You know? What if we just will this into existence? What if the market god's plans is to just put a bunch of money into our lap? Maybe. I guess we'll find out later. I guess I'll tell you better at 4 p.m. when it's time to close up shop, and that's kind of when I go cry in the sauna. Oh, update on my life. Doesn't really relate to the show, doesn't really relate to the markets, but it probably does have a huge impact on your personal life. I've decided to pivot from crying in the shower to I now cry in the sauna. I cry in the sauna. I knew it was Shauna once. She was actually really fast. She was on the track team. Anyway, I'm really getting off the point here. But yeah, just for like kind of a little summertime switcheroo, I'll report back on if I think if it's better or if it's worse. Yeah, but a lot of my recent crying has been more so in the sauna. I have a dry sauna, but I also have a steam room. And I've been kind of trying those two, but because I've been crying so much in those two, I don't have enough time for my normal shower cries. So I'll just let you guys know how it's going. If I think it's better, it's worse. I have an extensive list and pros and cons. I've been running it through AI, LLMs, neural nets in a general sense, really trying to hone in the perfect place to get rid of all the day's sadness. I've also been taking various notes of, do I do it in the morning, midday? Is it during the stream? Is it after the day? Is it the middle of the night? So it's pretty much, it's a pretty extensive breakdown on optimal places and times and style of which to cry. And I will get back to you when the report is done. So I just want to let you know that is, it's looking good. So, yeah, that's a little bit about me. Does it impact your trades? I don't know. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But what I can tell you is we're basically looking at a new all-time high today. The pattern over the past couple weeks has been that slow grind to the upside. It's been kind of tough to capitalize on via the options market because vol is so low. For those of you in the audience who have been long calls, you've probably had a really tough time because of all of the vol crush, because of theta decay. Gamma is really not doing anything that special. The money in the options market on this particular push, when I say this one, I mean over the past 1 or 2 weeks, has really been in put selling, really even call selling, because it's just that slow grind up. So of course you could probably make more money in this environment by swinging futures because you're going to get that 50 plus X leverage anyway, and you don't have to worry about the time really aspect at all. You're just getting that grind higher and higher and higher, and obviously very leverage. But overall, our investment portfolios are probably looking good. So as much as we might, at least for me, and I'm not speaking for all of us, as much as I'm bummed out that this isn't really a good opportunity to just YOLO your calls, it has been a good opportunity to just every so often peak your long-term investment account because that thing is just going higher and higher and higher, and I hope you're crushing it. But with more respect to today, I very much hope you didn't have Novo Nordisk in it, that big pharmaceutical play, I believe out of Norway. I want to say it's out of Norway. They had earnings. It used to be a top 10 stock, and now it's not even the top 30s. It just got hit by 20% from the earnings. So not so good. In fact, across the board, the only earnings that I'm seeing doing uniquely well today is actually SoFi. I know SoFi is a pretty popular one with you folks in chat here. So if you ended up playing that, massive congrats to you. Huge congrats to you. If you're still in it, it's looking strong. A lot of membership. But all the other ones that we're hearing about this morning, not so good. Not so good. I want to get long-term calls on MSTR for earnings, S&P 500 possibilities. I don't know what that means. S&P 500 possibilities. I want to get long-term calls on MSTR for earnings. S&P 500 possibilities. Joe, what the fuck does that mean? Can someone translate that to me? I want to get long-term calls on MSTR for earnings. Okay, good luck. That's statistically not a smart play, but maybe you'll crush it. S&P 500 possibilities. I don't, what does that mean? S&P 500 possibilities. Up, down, sideways. Those are pretty much the three general possibilities, with most of the time up or down being your popular choices. I don't see how it connects to the other ones. S&P 500 possibilities of it going into it. I mean, you'd have to wait for the period of the year where they actually announce the rebalancing. Joining the S&P 500. Did you guys not pay attention in like fourth grade English? Jesus Christ. Joe, come on. Joint the S&P 500. So you're talking about it joining the S&P 500. That's decided by a committee. There are certain requirements, like so many quarters of profitability, this, that, the other thing. There are like a certain benchmark that all the stocks in the S&P 500 have to make, but there's more companies in the world that meet those requirements that are not in it. From there, it ends up coming down to a committee selection, and circa 2021, there was quite a while where Tesla was like had all the requirements to be in it, and for some reason, for multiple opportunities, the committee just bypassed Tesla over and over and over, and now eventually did get into it. But once again, just because you have the requirements to be in the S&P 500 is not a guarantee that you're going to be in the S&P 500, and it literally comes down to a committee selection. So with that, that's a better question for the committee. I mean, there's no point. Like, if you're betting on that, it's kind of it's a 50-50 bet. You're just playing a game of roulette. And also, you should just wait for the time period to be closer to those actual announcements. But if you're playing earnings, I find most of the people playing earnings, you have less than a 50-50 shot, because not only, especially in options, not only are you looking for it to go in your direction, but you need it to go in your direction enough that you don't suffer from vol crush. So when you are playing earnings in a short-term situation, as in it's reporting Thursday, if you're playing Friday's expiration or even the next Friday's expiration, you have less than a 50-50 shot. The original 50-50 is from, are you right in the market's reaction? The second part is, are you right, but are you right enough that you can overcome the implied move? There are many, many retail traders, myself included, who have gotten the direction right, but then you end up still losing money because it didn't outpace the expected move, as in you're suffering from not only theta decay, but extreme vol crush. So if you are playing options, if you're playing earnings via short-term options, as in just long calls, long puts, of course you could have other strategies like spreads, call spreads, debit spreads, calendars. That's a little bit more advanced. I'm saying if you are playing earnings just from buying calls or buying puts, you have less than a 50-50 shot, because you have to get the direction right and you have to get the magnitude of the move right. So good questions, good things to chat about. I'm more than happy to clarify some points or get further into it if you would so like. But first, let me get you guys ready for the market today, Tuesday, July the 29th. Stock futures move higher after S&P 500 ekes out another closing record. Yes, we did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green days in a row to basically a new all-time high. And if you're looking at some pre-market trading, we're probably going to see another new all-time high today in the SPY, and we definitely are in the NASDAQ. Talking a little bit about earnings right here, Novo Nordisk, a big pharmaceutical play, down 21%, and it is bleeding. And then on the flip side, we have SoFi that's actually up 10%. I don't think many people in here have been talking about NVO, but I see many of you guys talking about SoFi, so congrats if you played that. I actually don't have it. I feel like I just keep missing out on the opportunity, and it's not really ever giving me a low risk opportunity to get in. That was a while ago, but if you've been riding this one up, a massive congrats to you. All right, so taking a step back, looking at the larger picture, the EU and US rush to clinch final details and lock in a trade deal. So the big announcement on Sunday was that, hey, we have a trade deal. But as I alluded to on the Sunday update video and in the show yesterday, there were a lot of important details that just had to still be discussed. Basically, their goal was to get this announcement out before the August 1st deadline, as in this Friday. And even, side note here, Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary, promised us that no one's getting an extension. How could they ever? And then, surprise, surprise, on Sunday, China also got a 90-day extension. But anyway, that's besides the point. So let's dive into the important details that are yet to be ironed out. It relates to the world of drugs. Pharma giants push for tariff clarity as ambiguity threatens the EU-US deal. Basically, this is very important because it is the largest export from the EU to the US, specifically focusing on Germany. But anyway, if you look at just the dollar value of what comes from Europe into the US, a lot of our drugs are manufactured there. So this isn't just like, oh, it's like a small little aspect of it that we need to figure out. This is huge. Ambiguity abounds around, wow, they're really going for alliteration there this morning. Ambiguity abounds around the terms of pharmaceutical goods under the US EU trade truce agreed on Sunday. As of right now, they have no idea what's going on. It's under some US Section 232 investigation, outcome due by August. So the world of pharma, we're talking about Pfizer, JP Morgan, Novo Nordisk, and everything else in between, they need answers. So with respect to the trade deal, yes, we are waiting on more updates from the US and China just because they got 90 days. So hopefully sooner rather than later, we know what's going on there. But with respect to the EU-US deal, ideally soon, we know what's going on with the pharma trade subsector of the overall trade deal. So with respect to macroeconomic data drops today at 10 a.m., 30 minutes into the trading day. These ones can be tricky, especially if you have a position live at 10 or if you plan on trading at 10. But at 10 a.m., we get the consumer confidence numbers and the JOLTS job openings. I think I've had too much coffee this morning, or maybe not enough. I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, 10 a.m., things are going down. So be careful, because I've already showed you guys on streams multiple times, unfortunately to me, where I've had my stops at break even, and due to slippage, because these are simulated rhythmic data environments, you get the worst fills. So if you want to play this, I do wish you the best of luck, but understand you're also, it's a high risk, high reward. Like, you could really crush it if it pops in your favor, or you could have a bad beat like I streamed to you guys early last week, Monday or Tuesday as last week, where I got a slippage of like 18 points and it blew out account. So I just want to call that out. 10 a.m. today, 30 minutes into the trading day, we do have some stuff going down, and this is really just the preamble for tomorrow. Technically, the FOMC meeting starts today, but we get the results of it tomorrow. FOMC meetings, the Federal Open Market Committee meeting, that's where they decide the Fed fund rate. They're 2-day meetings. Starts today, concludes tomorrow. We get the results at 2 p.m. tomorrow, and Jerome Powell does a press conference at 2:30. But also in the morning, we get the ADP non-farm employment change and the GDP numbers. So obviously, tomorrow is going to be a very big one, and I'm going to come back to that. But just so you guys know, Thursday, the PCE inflation report, and then Friday, all the stuff that you get on the first Friday of every single month, non-farm payrolls, average hourly earnings, unemployment rate, all that good stuff going down on Friday. But let me circle back to the FOMC meeting because it technically does start today. A divided Fed eyes future rate cuts but won't move this week. Sounds like a Star Wars plot. Officials are split into 3 camps over what economic evidence they need before resuming rate cuts, with 2 governors prepared to dissent. If they do dissent, this would be the first dissenting votes we've had in many, many moons. So here are the 3 camps, and here who are in the 3 camps. This group of centrists has signaled openness to reducing rates later this year, most likely September, but wants to study at least 2 more months of inflation and labor market data to see the pass-through effects of tariffs aren't as bad as feared, that the economic activity isn't re-accelerating. By the time the Fed meeting again in September, officials will have seen 2 more months of employment and inflation data. So this is the biggest camp, and there's 19 voting members at the FOMC. The biggest camp is the centrists, who are saying, yes, we need to cut rates, but we just want to make sure, and we basically want all the numbers of July, August, and September that the market will give us before the September meeting. That is one of the camps. The next camp is kind of like that. The group of cautious centrists. So they're still centrists, and they still kind of want data, but they just think we should do one rate cut a little bit earlier. Faces opposing minorities. 2 Fed governors have signaled that they could dissent this week, preferring to cut rates right away. So basically, they're saying, we know we're not going to cut rates, but we're at least going to cast a dissenting vote just to put it out there, to drive some headlines. They know the rates are not going to be cut tomorrow, but basically, they're just saying, hey, we get it, we're centrist, but we really, really want one by September. And then the third group, on the other side of the debate, is a third cluster of Fed officials who will want to see evidence of meaningful economic weakness before cutting, given their concerns that higher prices are in the pipeline, as in not even September. So I want to be very, very clear. The entire Federal Reserve is on board with not cutting rates this month. Yes, we're going to get 2 dissenting votes, but they're doing it kind of for a different reason than like legitimately thinking it. They're still in the centrist camp. They're cautious centrists, and their argument is like, hang on, if we do 25 bips this time around, is it really going to be that big of a deal? Like that, this, that, the other thing, but they still kind of want a little bit more data. Then most of them are saying, cool, give us the data for July, August, September. We'll vote in September. We'll do a rate cut then. And then there's another minority group who's actually like, we don't even know if September is going to be good enough. So I just want to be clear, there is no overwhelming effort from the Fed whatsoever to cut the rates this time around. And the market knows it. In fact, 98% confident that we're going to stay at 4.25% with a 2% chance of a rate cut, as in we're not getting a rate cut tomorrow. We're not getting a rate hike. Nothing's happening. And basically, the first time we're going to most likely get a rate cut is mid-September. September 17th is the next meeting. There is no meeting in August. So no rate cut. Then we're going to get a rate cut in September. Just want to put that out to everyone. So obviously, very crazy week. We are at all-time highs. A lot of macroeconomic data drops, announcements, this, that, the other thing. And we're also in earnings season. So today's going to be a big day. After the market closes today, well, actually tomorrow's bigger, but today, Visa and Starbucks after the market closes. The exciting day is Wednesday and Thursday. So literally the day of the FOMC meeting, right after the market closes, we hear from Meta, Microsoft, and Robinhood. The next day, Apple, Amazon, Strategy, MicroStrategy, Coinbase, Reddit, Riot. So huge days coming up tomorrow and Thursday, and really even some important energy plays on Friday. But with all that being said, we should review some of the ones from this morning. United Health Group, SoFi, PayPal, Boeing, UPS, Spotify, Merck, P&G, and the overarching TLDR is they didn't do that well. SoFi did well. SoFi scores earnings and revenue beat as membership booms. So looking at SoFi, currently up 10.5%. Like I said, massive congratulations to you in chat if you played it because you made a good amount of money. Spotify gained subscribers, but posts lost. Not so good for Spotify. UPS posts downbeat quarterly votes as shifting trade policies weigh. Also not so good. And the one that got really clobbered, Novo Nordisk shares plunged 15% after Wegovy maker cuts full year guidance. Wegovy is basically the exact same thing as Ozempic. It's just like a weight loss one. And I guess enough people who want to lose weight are already losing it because they are cutting their full year guidance. And actually, Novo Nordisk NVO is actually down horribly. It's down 21.6%. So much that not long ago is in the top 15, top 10 companies in the entire world. That's how big this player was. And now if you look, Novo was at 32. So Novo is at 32 before this drop. Oh, it's not from Norway. It's from Denmark. Excuse me. I messed that one up. This thing is just going to plummet. It's going to absolutely plummet. It's just been getting horrifically destroyed. Wow. That's not going to be good. Remember, these are American depository receipts, so it's not actually a company in the U.S. So if you're looking to play the right one, obviously make sure you're on the right one. There's a lot of different symbols for it based on the exchange it's on, so just want to put that out there. Another one getting beaten up, United Health Group. This thing has just been going down, down, down. United Health says 2025 earnings will be worse than expected as high medical costs dog insurers. So they're blaming everyone else and just not the fact that they're running a pretty crappy business at this point, UNH. I mean, look at the daily chart on this one. It's just getting absolutely manhandled. Not long ago at 600, currently trading at 269. It's just giving back. Basically, the last time we saw this was 2020. It's just getting brutalized, absolutely brutalized. So some earnings good, most specifically SoFi. The rest of them, not so much. If you haven't already, sign up for the newsletter, macros@locals.com. My mom will put it in chat. It's also in the description of the video. Every single Sunday to your email inbox for 100% free. I break down what's going on in the market, cheat sheet for the earnings, cheat sheet for all the major macroeconomic events, and then probably most useful is the seasonality of each individual day. So for today, Tuesday, July the 29th, over the past 27 years, the better part of 3 decades, the bulls have won this day 44% of the time, slightly less than flipping a quarter. But they do have a profit factor of 1.74. And that's because of the performance in the past 6 years. Past 6 years, it has gone bullish. A little bit bearish, a little bit bullish, a little bit bearish, and now quite a bit bullish. So in aggregate, I would say that today is leaning bullish, but the recent couple years, very, very bullish. So I just want that to be out there. It's not the end all be all, but it is important to know the generic headwinds and tailwinds in the overall market. Tomorrow is a bit more bearish, leaning bearish. Thursday is a bit more neutral. And then Friday, we conclude the week, kick off the month, unfortunately, on a notable bearish note. So I just want to put that out there. This is the first week in the past 5 weeks with respect to seasonality that the bears actually dominate. So the past 5 weeks in a row have been bullish weeks. This is the first week that really just over the past 3 years, 5 years, and 20 years, the bulls do net out winning this particular week. Not large, but they definitely do net out to win this week. So just want to put that out there. All right, with respect to my trading plan today, as we have about 6-7 minutes to go, as I always do, I mark out the previous session's high, low, and close. Yesterday's high is also the all-time high. So if we take out 6,401.07, you know we are at a brand new record high. So anyway, the high, the low, and the close, it is the green, the red, and the white. The white box is the transition zone with respect to 0DT options. Basically, above it is thought to be bullish, below it is thought to be bearish, and this is the choppy zone with respect to gamma and delta. And then the final thing are these yellow horizontal lines where we just have major open interest, like as in big players. So the plan for the day is we're basically opening up at the all-time high, roughly in this zone. I'm looking for support to be found anywhere between 6,400, 6,390, somewhere in here. Then I'm looking for a bounce to this region, plus or minus a couple points, but basically 6,417. And then my reach target on the day is 6,430. Once again, these are all levels from the big players. That is where they are positioned on the day. That's the bull case. That is the case I'm looking to take advantage of. I really don't have much interest in doing the bear case today because the overall situation is still dominated by the bulls. But if for some reason you happen to be bearish, my bearish case would be failure at 6,400, 390. Then I'd be looking for just basically taking out yesterday's closing value, a push to 80, and then maybe even touching yesterday's low at 75. So it's a little bit of a weaker case with respect to like not that much distance, but that would be my plan. 390 to basically 80 to 75. That would be my bear case. If you're bearish, that's what I'd be looking for. Personally, I am not bearish just because of everything I see going on. 30-minute, 4-hour bullish, 30-minute, 4-hour bullish. Right now, we know the options market for today, tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday is all call dominated. We have a lot of positive gamma. So we're pretty well supported below, 6,390. That's a lot of positive gamma. So based on all the measurable data we have right now, honestly, I have no reason whatsoever to be bearish. If anything, I see a little patch of negative gamma above us, as in if we get going, we might have a little bit of I suppose, a magnet effect. Remember, negative gamma is slippery price action. Positive gamma is sticky price action. So if we get going this way and have some momentum, we could easily get sucked up to one of these negative gamma nodes. So I would say for various reasons, whether you're looking at the Greeks, the options market dominance, the momentum of price action, the daily chart, even just the generic stats of this part of the year, the generic stats of new highs beget new highs, I see no measure that makes me bearish. I don't find a single measure. Really, the question is just a measure of how bullish should I be? Should I be very bullish, not bullish? Unfortunately, these are phenomenal setups for bullish directive moves. But right now, we have so much low volatility that you really can't play calls because of vol crush, because of theta decay. So even though this is, in my mind, a very evident bullish setup, you kind of either have to play it through the leveraged market of futures directly with stocks and it's a slow grind, or you're just selling puts. So various things to consider, but across the board, I am seeing that the bulls are dominating. I'm seeing very much that the bulls are dominating. All right, let's get SoFi's up there. We'll throw up Meta. I have a new Meta position. I would love for that to pop. I guess we could leave SoFi up there at open just because it seems like a lot of you guys have some interest in it. So we'll throw that up for now. What I do want to show you is this. Let me switch the screen up so you can see what's going on. I traded on 3 accounts, the ones that are all above 53 right here, 416, 907, and 599. I've traded on all 3 of these. These ones were scratch trades in and out at the same value. This one was a little bit of a gain. The reason I did scratch trades on these 3 accounts is because I've already hit the profit target, and there is no reason for me to risk any more trades. I just needed a 5th trading day, and today I believe is the 5th trading day. So pass that one, pass that one, pass that one. So I just want to be transparent about what's going on, my wins, my losses, my reasoning, and these ones were not funded accounts. These were just the evals. I believe I've now passed the evals, so there was no point in taking on additional risk. Other than that, I haven't traded. I added 2 extra Tradeify accounts just because you're allowed to have 5, and I figured, hey, why not trade all actual 5? And then I have my leftover take profits. I still have my Apex, and then I have a brand new account right here, it's called Funding Ticks. It's a new company that actually I have a meeting with today to become an affiliate to see if I like them. I want to know a little bit more about their business plan. So I'm just trying to learn a little bit more about the company. So I figured buy an account, see if I like them, see if I don't, that type of a thing, just to properly vet them, or at least vet them to the best of my abilities. As you can see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different strategies on today. That's all green here. They're not all guaranteed to run. 4 of them are guaranteed to run. But the other 2, the market has to see that particular setup. So ideally, Skynet will be crushing all 6, but I'll even just take it if it crushes all 4. They should all theoretically be done by the end of today's show. They should be running from basically 9:30 to 11 a.m. That is the window that these particular trading strategies are made for. So we're going to see how it plays out. But I just like to give you guys the rundown because I find many people in this particular sphere and place are not that honest about what's going on, and I would rather be honest and truthful and fail than be a liar who you guys think is, I don't know, somehow overperforming or underperforming. I would rather just be honest about everything. So we're going to see how this is going. If everything is right, there should be 2 trades that pop off pretty much right at market open. We're going to see if I coded this one up. I did make a couple changes to it. So we're going to see. I'll put on the volume so you could hear what is or isn't going on. But I like to trade the NASDAQ contract, the NQ contract, just because it has quite a bit of volatility, quite a bit of movement, and you don't need that much movement to make quite a bit of money on this. So let's see how it goes. First trade should be firing off right at market open.
Order submitted.
Okay.
Order filled. Order filled.
Okay, so apparently these are dead accounts, so let me just turn those off. It didn't even let me trade on them. I have to go on Tradeify and see what happened there, but okay, first trade was a success. I just need to turn off 8 and 10. And I need to do that relatively quickly. 8 and 10. Okay, cool. Maybe I killed them yesterday by accident. Even though this is showing a position, remember, it is not. Okay, the second trade
Order
just
filled.
hit. All right, so we're 2 trades in, but I am getting a weird... What the fuck happened on this one? Why is it short contracts? That's not good. That's not good at all. I don't know why this one's gone rogue when all the other ones worked as expected. I truly do not know. And it just took another position?
Order filled.
I don't know why one account is doing something completely different. You guys are gonna have to riddle me that one. Folks, I wish I could tell you why one single account is fucking me today. And now it's short again? What the fuck is this account doing? Why is every other account working and then one account is the bane of my fucking existence? Why? How could this be working on all of these accounts except for one? Am I green? As soon as I see it going net green, I'm closing it down on the day. There we go. There we go. Winners win.
Order filled.
Winners win. Pulls out a miracle anyway. Pulls out a freaking miracle anyway. Did I get lucky as hell? Of course I got lucky as hell. But hey, winning is winning. Made 250. Bug in the system? I don't think so because it worked everywhere else. It worked literally everywhere else. But anyway, I just got stupidly lucky. I got it green anyway, right here. Green by 250. I turned it off. So that one's not going to be trading anymore until I can figure out what's going on. I think the issue was that I was trading more contracts than I was allowed to. There must be some sort of cap. I was trying to trade multiple contracts on it. But hey, it is what it is. Thus far, I'm not going to complain because thus far, things are looking pretty freaking good. Pretty freaking good. So far 3 strategies have run. 2 at the market open, 1 slightly delayed, and not a bad amount of money being made. I'm not going to complain. That's a decent way to start the day. Pretty much 300, 350, a little bit of slippage here and there. I'm seeing anywhere from as low as 170, as low as 130, to as high as 355. And that's what happens in the game of slippage. Honestly, that's probably the biggest pain in the ass thing that I'm currently trying to figure out is how to beat the world of slippage. Okay, so that's the start. Good start to the day. Right now, there's a cool-off period in Skynet. Skynet, after firing off 3 trades, there is a built-in delay. So right now, I'm just waiting on this. Year to date, are you still net up on all this futures trading thing? Yeah, a lot. I mean, at the start of the year, I got paid out $240,000. So I would have to have a lot of credit card bills. I would have to buy a lot of accounts to piss away all of that money. I was paid out $250,000 at the start of the day, at the start of the year. Between January, February, and March, I was paid out literally $240,000. which was all documented. I made videos on it. You could fact check me on it, but I would like, do you know how many tests I would have to take for that to just not work? I would have to, it would have to be a pretty penny. That is for sure. Do you trade without bots? Sometimes. From my run up from January, February, March, that run up was all manual trading. And then since then, I've tried to get back on the proverbial horse, and it hasn't worked. And that was all manual trading. And so now I'm trying to get back to my roots of systematic trading rather than manual trading. So I've done both, and arguably both my best and my worst periods, my best periods of success and my worst periods of failure have both been because of manual trading. I find that systematic trading is more middle of the road of like, if you have a good system, you're getting that slow grind to the upside. I find with my manual trading, it's more of a gunslinging situation. I'm either doing amazing and getting huge wins, or I'm doing absolutely horrible and taking massive losses. How did I get into bots? Well, it actually started, not long ago, a couple years ago. I was on a website, and you know how sometimes you have to like prove you're not a robot, and you have to do some random test like typing in the letters or moving the picture or clicking on all the buses or the crossroads. I tried to do that test, and I just kept failing it over and over again. And then I realized that maybe I am a bot. Like, I just could not pass that test. And it was at that moment that I was like, well, fuck, if a human could pass this test and I can't pass this test by just the transitive property of being a robot or not being a robot, I must have in fact been a robot. So it was more on that realization that just one of these random ass websites for security reasons to know if I was human or not just screwed me over. It was a shock to me. What do I use for a bot? Coding. Like I code it myself. I make it myself. Like, I have a trading plan, and then instead of me executing what I wanted to execute, I have the bot execute exactly what I wanted to execute. So I came up with the trading plan. It's not like some out of the box trading plan. It's my trading plan, and it's what I attempt to do when I'm manually trading. Like, I'm attempting to do the exact same trades, whether systematic trading or manually trading. The issue with manual trading is my fucking brain sometimes just breaks, and I oversize, and I break the rules. I do this, that, the other thing. I trade when the system isn't, or the signal isn't there. Like, I end up breaking all the rules of the system. So in an attempt to not break said rules, I then just put it into code and moved on with my life. Love the eyebrows, Matt. My Stairmaster King, Tony. Fuck, man, you're gonna make a guy blush. That's probably the nicest thing I've heard in a while. Nice eyebrows, my Stairmaster King. Dude, I crushed 150 last night. Barely even noticed. I did 150 flights in 26 minutes flat yesterday on the stair stepper. And I'm going to be, dude, folks, I'm getting too good at it. I know on this particular form of social media, you don't get to see my buns of steel that often. That's more of like an OnlyFans thing. But folks, these buns, they're no longer steel. They're turning into animanium. They're turning into diamond. Like, these things, I might not be allowed on a plane anymore. The TSA might be questioning, like, hey, sir, you're not allowed to have that dense of materials on our plane. You're going to bring us down. Like, it's how I live life. It's what I do. Trex, ew. VO2 max must be in the hundreds. I don't even know. Maybe. I assume that has something to do with the oxygen in your lungs, which I don't know. Do you ever think about doing the Empire State Building run? No, but wait, how much is the Empire State Building? I thought that was 119. No, that's like the 9/11 memorial. 119 flights is easy for me. Maybe not with, obviously, with all the gear on. I think that's a completely different story. Putting on all the, like, the tanks and that's completely different. But if I'm in gym clothes, 119 flights, I'll do that by accident. Like, legit accident. Do the stair stepper while carrying your bike. Well, that would assume that I have a bike, and I in fact do not. But that sounds very difficult if I'm being completely honest. All right, let's look at the options flow. Let's see what's going on. Enough with the chit chat. 5-minute bullish, 10-minute bullish, 30-minute bullish, 4-hour bullish, 5-minute bullish, 10-minute bullish, 30-minute bullish, 4-hour bullish. Out of the gate, the Nasdaq does have more relative strength when compared to the S&P 500, but both are bullish. So a lot of bullish momentum. We did hit a new all-time high. Pretty much, well, literally at open, we opened at a high. So whatever the high of the day is also the new all-time high. And also, just because we're here talking about systematic stuff, stats, facts, and figures, the fact that we took out yesterday's high means that there's a 78% chance that we close above yesterday's low. 6389.76, 77% chance we close above that value because we broke yesterday's high. When you break the previous day's high or low, depending on that direction, the chance that you close on that side of the direction relative to the previous close is just better than 75%. We broke the high right here, 6401.07, which means that there's a 77% chance that we close above 6389.76. Had we broken 6375.79, yesterday's low value, then there would have been roughly the same chance that we close below 6389.76. So as soon as you break the high, you look to close above the close. As soon as you break below the low, you look to close below the low. Pretty good odds. Is it a guarantee? No, I'm telling you right now that it works 77% of the time and it doesn't work 23% of the time. If you want to isolate those particular cases that don't work, you can find other interesting stats, facts, and figures based on, is it news driven, the day of the week of the month of the year. You can find certain increased densities of when that particular that particular stat does not hold. But to be honest, I'm not going to give it away here because that's the fun stuff we talk about in the Discord, and I don't want to cheat them. And why would I give away all my secret sauce to you guys? You know, why would I do that for free? The only one deserves it is Tony, who said that I have great eyebrows and I'm a Stairmaster King. So I will DM Tony the secrets, but to everyone else, I will not be. Just Tony gets it. Just Tony will be getting those secrets. Okay, very quickly before I get too confused by all of this. Today's stream sponsor is once again Apex, because today that 90% off, it ends today. So we're doing the old double dipper on Apex, but right here, 90% off with that code Goonie, Goonie. It's pinned at the top of chat. It's in the description of the video, and I could even hack the mainframe here and make it a little bit more evident for all of you guys. Right, let's hack the mainframe. Evals with code Goonie. Okay, there you go. Hack the mainframe. 90% off evals with code Goonie. Goonie. 90% off. It ends today. This is tied with the best deal that they ever offer. They're not going to give you more than 90% off, but this is 90% off and a 1-day pass. You have 14 hours left. The test for a 50K account is maybe now $17. It is dirt cheap. Highly recommend if you want more accounts. If you've liked this idea of sim defunded prop trading, but you're like, you know what, I'm going to wait for it to be cheaper before I get involved. This is your moment right here. 90% off with code Goonie. With code Goonie. All right. So we got a pump in the queues, a little bit of profit taking. If I had, okay. I don't need the founder's note. Mag 7. We're getting a little bit of divergence, folks, because the price went up, but options are getting hit. And then same thing now with the S&P 500. It was decently strong, but it's seemingly struggling at the all-time high. Yeah, we got a pop up until about 940, and now it's going the other way. Actually, the SPY's about to make a fresh intraday low, once again retesting the high from yesterday, which was also the all-time high. So we don't need that anymore. There's a new high being put in. Yeah, but here's the first. Let's do the 5-minute here. You can kind of see we opened up above the high, pushed a little bit, came down, tapped it, tried to bounce. Nope. We have a little bit too much profit taking. If it doesn't hold this key level, there is support about 5 to 10 points below where we are. Wouldn't hate that as a trade at all. If we find support in here, maybe we get really good announcements and data drops at 10 a.m., then we bounce off of that and then push to this 614, 17-ish level, plus or minus a couple points in there. Really wouldn't mind that at all. Come down here, clean up the chart, find support in an area where there is a lot of open interest, bounce off of that. Would not hate that play whatsoever. All I can tell you right now in real time is ever since 90 seconds into the market, the Mag 7 Delta has been puking. The NASDAQ was strong up until about 9:41, and then that ended up puking. And then the S&P 500, same thing, pretty decently strong for the first 10 minutes, taking a dip. So basically the bulls were there for 10 minutes, and now we're questioning just how much profit taking is there going to be, how much profit taking isn't there going to be, that type of a thing. So let's just wait. Oh, someone just said something about proc. How's that doing? I love checking in on these of, oh no, if only someone knew this was dog shit. I wish someone told me that. Workhorse. Wow. It's going down. I wish. PHH, no way. It hasn't recovered. It's just dead. Oh my God. Oh, BMNRs. It's also down. Wow. I never saw that coming, honestly. That one's a surprise. Oh no. That one's also down. Open. Wow. I mean, I'm shocked for one that those ones are no longer doing well. I was promised by the internet that they were gonna keep going. No. It's almost as if all these pump and dumps end up falling again. I've never seen this before. I was told they would just keep going. What's HCTI? Is this another one? Yeah, this is totally gonna fucking die. It didn't even go to $1, dude. What was the V? Is V-Wave a new one? Yeah, here's another one that's gonna get fucking rocked. I saw people talking about it yesterday. Already gaps down 29% today. Given it enough time, it's coming back down. Mullen change to BINI. Bollinger, they're all dog shit, man. Look at Pop. Like, how many times do you have to see this pump and dump setup for people to no longer be surprised about it? Like, come on. Hey, man, if I blow out my Apex account right before the monthly renewal, does that eval automatically reset? No, you'd have to cancel it. So if it's blown out, but the account is still live, as in like within your dashboard, it will reset. So if it blows out and you don't want it, make sure to cancel the account. If it's blown out and the account is still live, it will reset to 50K on the monthly renewal. That just happened to me on Take Profit Trader. And it was a surprise to my credit card bill that I was not expecting. It was definitely a surprise to my credit card bill that took me a bit off guard. But anyway, honestly, depending on your accounts and stuff, it's probably going to be cheaper for you to do this than to do the reset. So it's probably cheaper for you to buy a new eval and cancel the first one, just because most likely you're going to get charged the 80% discount on the renewal, while you could do this today for 90% off. So you could save yourself $17 per account if you're using the 50K account. Why do you not short these, Matt? Is it not easy money? I guess I just have enough going on in my life. Generally, I'm not playing shorts. I trade options and futures. I probably should, but there's only so much time in the day. Like, I mean, I wish, I guess it would make a lot of money. But at the end of like, there's only 24 hours in the day, man. So to be able to keep my future strategies right, to pay attention to my 0DT options, to pay attention to my swing options, to put the stream together, to put a video together, to put a video together for the other show, to talk to all my sponsors, to run the Discord, to answer their questions, to do my own strategy development, to do my own data analytics. I'm building out a new website for the Discord. Like I should. I wish I did. I wish I already had a strategy written for it so it could just run by itself and it didn't need me. With proc, am I better off selling a $5 put or exercising it? It depends where the price is at.
Order.
Oh, fuck.
Order filled.
Nice. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. That position's closed out. I don't know why it keeps doing this, but you can see I have no unrealized. So what's that? 4 for 4 on the day? Not too shabby, folks. Up about 400 roughly. I see some at 510. I see one at 185. I don't know. There's getting a large discrepancy. This is not a live position. Honestly, I'm afraid to start it and restart it because it'll accidentally trade. But you can see right now that I have no live position. This is just like a weird data thing. But it went short on this VWAP breakdown. You could probably see it better here. This is a classic play I always do. You guys see me doing it all the time. Guess what? First close, right below VWAP. It went short. I made my money. Great. I moved on with my life. You guys literally for a week now have been seeing me take that trade, making my dude. And if I held, look how much money I'd be up. I just went in for a quick little scalp, but dude, I'd be up $1,000 right now. I'd actually be up more because the initial position was 5 contracts. I'd be up a shitload of money right now. So classic VWAP trade. That is one of the ones that isn't guaranteed to trade because you don't necessarily cross VWAP all of the time. So that one right there is one of the ones that is like kind of potential. Like it happens most days. Like I would say on average, it's happening probably out of 10 trading days, you're going to trade it at least 9 of those days. But I would say about 10% of the time that particular trade does not fire. So that one's good. Matt, what's up with sports betting? I got some plays on baseball. I don't know fuck all about baseball. But I do know that is probably one of the most like quantitative ways you could bet because baseball really does lend itself to quite a bit of high-end statistical analysis. So I have some friends who trade that or bet on baseball, but it's all just math driven. It has nothing to do with like, oh, I feel good about this team or I feel bad about that team. Not quite how it goes. All right. So the most money I've made today on one of these accounts on the lead account is 510. The least amount of money I've made today is 185. Remember, these were all scratch trades and things that I'm not trading. So the ones that I'm actually trading right here, 185 and above. So that right now in real time, that shows you a little bit about the craziness of slippage. Like I'm trading the exact same strategies, the exact same numbers of contracts, the exact same profit target, and that right there shows you the difference in slippage. Anywhere from 185 all the way up to 510. That's over a 100% difference. A 100% difference. If you pass the eval account in a day, does that qualify? On Apex, it does today. And actually for most of the time on Apex, it does. It doesn't on Tradeify. It doesn't on Take Profit. Apex, I believe, is the only one that you have a 1-day pass. Technically, you could pass in 1 day on Vanquish as well if you're trading options. Technically, you can there. Technically, you can there. Technically. All right. Did we dip right to where I predicted? Yep, right here. All right. We are now waiting for this 10 a.m. announcement. Maybe our boy Rick Santilli will come on, but we have consumer confidence and the JOLTS job openings coming out at 10 a.m., so in about 7 minutes. So this might be the impetus for us to actually bottom and bounce, and this would be perfect. This is a classic dip buy. We're in the transition zone. We're in between 2 major open interest levels. We basically got to the closing value from yesterday. Quite a bit of stuff going on right here. Do not be surprised at all if this is exactly what we need to create the low on the day. We take out 400, we take out the intraday high and the all-time high, and then we push to the next open interest level roughly around 17, and then my reach target would be 430. That's kind of what I'm looking for to play out. Awesome Diesel gifted 5 subscriptions to Matt Kohrs. Awesome Diesel. Well, on a day like today, you are doubly awesome. So shout out to Prophet, Michael, Nudbar, Truth Be Thy Game, and Wyoming Upland Outfitters, all getting a membership from Awesome Diesel. That's pretty nice. Do you trade or have any stock funds from outside the U.S.? No. And would you say most Americans have the majority of their portfolios in the U.S. market exclusively? Yes. So no, I do not have any international stuff. I have no reason to, because most international markets severely underperform the U.S. market barometer, the S&P 500. And then I've read stats in the past, but yes, a majority of Americans definitely keep their portfolios mainly in U.S. investments. And at this point, I would also then include crypto in that list, which I guess is technically international. But if you're talking about foreign companies, as in on foreign exchanges, that's a rarity. I would say most passive investors don't even know how to access it. And I would say most active traders and investors don't really give a shit about it. It's just they underperform. So why go through all that hassle to get something that's just not as good? How did all of your accounts pull off the same gains months ago? Because I was trading one contract for a much bigger chunk. So when there was a slippage, the same slippage of like a tick or 2 ticks had less of an impact, because I was doing like a trade for a big amount of money. Now I'm doing a lot of trades, but for a little bit amount of money. And that little bit, if there is statistically a slippage of a tick or 2, is going to be a bigger deal. They weren't the same a month ago. As I kept going, I mean, some of them had a difference of like $500 or something like that. So it was less of a difference, but the difference was still there. You're not going to escape slippage. I would argue that the slippage we are seeing right now on things like Rhythmic is way worse than you would see in the market. I truly believe that these SIMDA-funded companies have worse slippage than real trading. And I don't think it's necessarily nefarious. It might be nefarious. I don't know. I don't work at Rhythmic. I'm not sure. And remember, this has nothing to do with Apex, Tradeify, Take Profit Trader. They are all companies who license out these data providers. So this is different. This is not me blaming someone, like I said, Apex, Take Profit Trader, or anything like that, because they don't provide the data. They get you a license at a company who provides the data, such as Rhythmic. So I would assume maybe Rhythmic is being nefarious. That is possible. I'm not blind to the fact that they might intentionally be fucking us over. But even if you go to their website, you're going to realize that this is just an archaic company. So I think Occam's razor, the most likely answer is probably the answer, is that their tech is just not good enough to do very like fast-paced fills. And thus they end up getting like horrible slippage, if I had to guess. I'm not 100% sure, but I have a sneaky suspicion that the data providers are not that robust of companies. I really don't think so. Slippage can be very serious, especially when it's a nip. Dude, story of my life. Story of my life. This has not been my year for investments. Every trade has been bad. I've taken nothing but L's this year. Dude, just buy tech and forget about it. If you're having a tough time, buy tech and literally just thank me in like 10 years. Matt, isn't the TradeEvade account an Apex account? Can you please explain the 7-day minimum requirement to pass the eval? There is no 7-day requirement to pass the eval because right now it's a 1-day pass. So I don't know. 1 is less than 7. 7 days is a week. That is not a requirement because if you read, there's a 1-day pass right now. Isn't TradeEvade account an Apex account? No, Trade is the data provider. That's a different data provider. The way Rhythmic is a data provider. And technically, Trade isn't providing the data. If you go to their website, I think they're getting it from like CMG or C. It starts with a C. It's 3 letters. It's an acronym for something. But no, Trade, which is actually owned by NinjaTrader, which is owned by Kraken. They do white labeling stuff, but they are not the initial data provider. Your initial data provider is basically either Rhythmic or I forget the acronym. I think it's something like CMG. You can see it on Trade website. But Trade and Apex are 2 different things. It's not the CME. It's actually a really, really large company. CME is an exchange. That's a reasonable guess, but it's not that in this case. It is not that in this case. Yeah, data drops soon. You bet your bottom dollar, bucko. That is what we are waiting for. It is coming out in about 40 seconds. Is our boy Rick going to be on? Give us Rick. Give us Rick or give us death. Rick. All right. We are right at the high from yesterday. We are right at 6,400. We are right at equilibrium. We are going in 3, 2, 1.
C+.
Not out yet. Not out yet. Not out yet. Give us Rick,
Good
fuckers.
Tuesday morning. Welcome to Squawk on the Street. I'm Sarah Eisen with Carl Quintanilla and David Faber live, as always, from Post 9 of the New York Stock Exchange. Stocks
Nothing.
are kicking off the morning in the green. We're up
Was
about
the
0.2%
report not
after
released?
kind of a mixed finish yesterday after reaching another record high. We're at
No,
these record levels.
it was pretty much
NASDAQ
right in
leads
line. Consumer
up
confidence
0.3%
97.2 versus 95.9. Jolts 7.4 versus 7.5. That was a bunch of nada. Unless fuckers ran it early, was it leaked? I see this pop here at 9:57. It might have just been leaked.
Seen some buying in the overnight action. Yep,
Yeah, it like literally the market reacted
data, but the 10-year yield
2.5
closed at
minutes
3.7, so lower
before.
yields across the board. Today, it is a mega deal for the rails. We'll be joined in just a moment by the CEOs of both Union Pacific
Smells
and
like
Norfolk
it was
Southern,
leaked,
fresh
folks.
off of their news of their $72 billion
Smells
tie-up.
like it was
Plus,
leaked.
a weight loss warning. Novo Nordisk is tanking this morning after the Wegovy maker cut guidance, replaced its CEO.
Avago's
Much
at
more on
another
that.
new all-time
Straight ahead.
high.
Let's get some jolts and conference board with Rick Santelli.
Yes, Rick.
Good morning,
Rick.
Carl. Yes, job opening, labor turnover, jolts. This is a June number, expecting the number around 7.5 million. Comes in a bit light, 7,437,000. That would be the lowest level just since April of this year, when it was just a whisker under 7.4 million. What's notable here is last
Look
month,
at this guy.
7,769,000
Look at this sex symbol.
moves up a bit, which not only continues to make it the best number of the year, but it's the best number going back to November of last year in the rearview mirror. Now, let's look at conference board numbers. These are for July. 97.2 is the headline number, sequentially higher than 95.2. That would be the best, well, just since May of this year. If we look at the present situation, 131.5, that is not sequentially higher than our last look, which was 133 after a slight revision, but nonetheless, it's still the best since May. And finally,
Mag 7 popped right there at 957.
74.4. It is sequentially
NASDAQ
higher than
is still giving it back,
69.9 in the
and so
rearview
is the
mirror,
SPY
and that
kind
would
of.
comp to the highest level also since just May of this year. So we see that there's some rebounds.
So we
in
still
the
have lower
confidence
highs and
numbers.
lower
We did
lows.
get some volatility on that JOLTS number, especially considering it's coming off such a strong level. But all things considered, 437 before the number and a 10, 438 now. So we moved up and down a bit, but net change very little from previous
Lower
to
highs,
number
lower
release.
lows. Those
And
are
of
the
course, we
green and
all
the
know that
reds.
this week we're
So
gonna get two
treading
job
down, but
reports.
this is what
We're gonna
happened
get
yesterday,
ADP
and then we
big
caught
government
ourselves,
job
and then we
report
popped.
on Friday.
This one
So
right here
JOLTS
might
does
end up
have
being
an
a higher
outsized
low, though.
effect, but really nothing to be
We would
learned
need to
there.
take
A
out
lot
6402.
lighter than our last look, but very close to expectations. David Faber, back to you.
Thank you, Rick Santelli. Well, let's get some more about the huge deal, of course, of the morning. Biggest, in fact, of all time. Union Pacific announcing, in the rail industry, Union Pacific announcing it will buy Norfolk Southern. It's a cash and stock deal.
Boring. Boring. All right, we are basically just waiting to see if the Qs take out the intraday low, and we are waiting to see if the SPY takes out the intraday low or if it ends up taking out yesterday's high. So patience, no need to rush anything, no need to predict. Remember, good traders don't predict, they react. They do not predict, they react. And what is, whoa, all right, we have some support, potential support coming in here. We have some buyers lining up at 55, which if I had to guess was the intraday low. Yes, the low is 555.75, so they're once again trying to protect this. Once again, attempting to protect the low of the day. The low of the day. Is it gonna crack? If you don't know what's on the screen right now, this is referred to as Bookmap. Bookmap lets you know the aggressive buys and sells, and it lets you know the sitting buy orders and the sitting sell orders. If you're interested in it, you can get a nice fat discount in the description of the video. So feel free to check that out. But once again, this is called Bookmap. I use it on NQ. I use it on ES. You can use it on equities, ETFs, that type of a thing. I think it's actually a phenomenal tool for active day traders, for scalp traders. Because here, you could even see, we have protection. Quick, you buy that, you're already up 10 points in, out. 10 points on an NQ contract is $200. So even if you could use this to find one all right trade per month, this product pays for itself. But it is really nice to see where you have protection. Is the protection taken out? It's nice to know where you have resistance. That's reasonable profit targets like this. We ran right up. It ran into a little bit of a wall. That's exactly where it turned. So pretty cool product. Once again, I don't find the most utility in it as a swing trader or as a investor, but as a day trader, as a scalp trader, this is a pretty cool product. Pretty cool product. And yeah, that support is holding there. This is going to take out 75. You could see these sitting sell orders. Remember, below price is sitting buy orders. Above price is sitting sell orders. The green bubbles means the buyers were aggressive and they met on the ask. The red bubbles means the sellers were aggressive and the trade went through on the bid. So aggressive buying, aggressive selling, sitting buy orders, sitting sell orders. That's pretty much the skinny of what you need to know. The heat map gets darker the more sitting orders there are. And then also the point of control is this yellow line. That's where most volume has been transacted. And then the white dash up here is the VWAP, the volume weighted average price. So we're below the point of control. We are below VWAP. But we are on top of this big grip of buyers. Are they going to hold or are they going to get taken out? Are they going to get taken out? We'll find out. They might pull the order before. Remember, these are just sitting buy orders. They don't have to stay there. You could let them sit. You could take them. We've all done that as traders. You're like, I like the trade. I dislike the trade. It's kind of up to you. Even right there, it's getting eaten up right there. See how they did not pull. They're getting filled. And then actually more people are coming in at 50. But see that red, that these orders were legitimately filled. Legitimately filled. Let's see. Let's see what's going on. The Mag 7, it tried to get pop in there, but ever since 958, we are continuing this path downward. S&P 500, same thing. Everything tried to pop right before, 3 minutes before that announcement, but thus far not holding. I'm seeing the delta go to the downside. We still easily do have support here. Technically, we have a higher low, but we also have a lower high. So not so good if the SPX breaks 96. That would, in my book, increase the chances of touching 93. And then from there, we have the idea of touching this close and touching this key level at 90. So it'll be interesting to see. We do have lower highs. We might have a higher low. It kind of depends on how deep this pullback is. The Qs did make a new intraday low. Barely. But now a little bit of a bid is coming in. A little bit of a bid is coming in. Went down to 52 there. Interesting. But not much. We barely wicked this. We barely wicked this. All right, let's look for this reversal. Let's look for this continuation. Here, I'll just mark out some of these key levels. We don't want to miss any of the fun. We don't want to miss any of the fun. All right, we did that. We are good to go. Mag 7 is maybe turning around right here. It's like trying to get a little bit of a bid. The S&P 500 just choppy, not doing too much. Oops, sorry. I double-clicked this, did not mean to. The NASDAQ is bleeding right now. So as of now, the options market is not the most stoked. Price action-wise, the SPY is sideways. The Qs was looking really strong for the first 10 minutes. Ever since then, giving a bit up. SoFi is now going flat. You guys have been saying that Tesla's getting murdered. It is getting murdered. What else are you guys saying? The Qs. I'm blocking the Qs when I go over here. I need to remember to pop myself over here, so my big fat head doesn't block any of this. Meta's ruining my fucking life. Avago's doing nothing. Nvidia, Microsoft's selling off. Palantir's getting hit. Tesla's getting hit. Apple was getting hit, trying to recover. Coin's getting hit. ASML's getting hit. SMCI is doing nothing. Soxel's trending up. Netflix, Jesus. Circle, BITX, Bitcoin must be going down. Bitcoin's at 118. Qualcomm's actually going up. Bonds recovering a little bit. Vol is down again. VIX is at 14.8. Jesus, that is lethargic. Oil's at 67. Not much going on. Folks, we have a lot of positive gamma. That's a lot of purple, folks. A lot of purple. Wait. Oh. Captain Condor must be back. This is a new position as of like this morning. Call credit spread at 6,430. Put credit spread at 6,360, 14,000. And then there's another put credit spread also at 6,350. So someone out there, but then this is a call. No, that's probably not a debit spread. So you have a call credit spread, a call debit spread, roughly the same size. So kind of an iron condor, and then there's another put credit spread down here. So call credit spread, put debit spread, put debit spread. This bet is betting that the SPX will close the day below 6,430. This bet is betting that the day will close above 6,360. And this bet is betting that we will close the day above 6,350. It looks like this is the call side of the iron condor. And then these two together, I don't know why, but I have a feeling that 14 plus another 10. Interesting. Basically, this is putting a ceiling and a floor on the day. So this is not by any means the day to be swinging for the fences, expecting some large range day. I mean, not only can we see that the IV is very low, vol is very low, there's a ton of positive gamma, but on top of all that, the FOMC meeting is tomorrow. So why would all the big traders be doing massive trades, like momentum-based stuff today? It just doesn't really add up. Or like today, I have a feeling, a sneaky suspicion that today the winners will be scalp traders and premium sellers. If I really had to guess how this is going to play out, scalp traders and premium sellers, I think, are going to rule the roost today. Avago's the biggest gainer on my watch list, followed by Nvidia, but nothing's getting that nice. Microsoft's getting beat up. Tesla's getting beat up. How is SoFi holding? It's holding decently, but nothing's really going. RCEL is 100% shorted. Might be, but I doubt it. I think a lot of people who cite that stuff are confusing short volume with short interest. They sound similar, but they are two very different things. And this is a shitty medical company. Without even knowing anything about it, I too would want to short it. The short interest is right here, 22%. I don't know where you're getting 100%, but that is not right. Its short interest is 22.5%. I'm seeing some people say some positive things about AMD. Yeah, AMD's having a good day. AMD's definitely having a good day. AMD. So the SPY is trying to fight its way back up, might be putting in a higher low here. So like a price structure shift, lower highs and lower lows, bearish, to now maybe higher highs and higher lows. So if the SPY can take out 6380.14, we're going on the 1 minute from bearish to bullish, which means we're going from a counter trend short-term movement to a with trend movement, because obviously the larger trend is bullish. So I like those plays a little bit better. And then the Qs, same thing. It would have to take out 570.75. 570.75. But anyway, Matthew Klinger, you better not be buying RCL thinking that it is 100% shorted, thinking that it's some sort of short squeeze. It is not. It's a shitty medical company that probably deserves to have a higher short interest. New to Apex, planning on taking the FOMC play. What do you think of a buy limit order and a sell limit order 1 minute before the announcement? So what you're going to want to do is set up an ATM strategy that already has your profit, your risk, and your like contract count for you. So you'd come here and you do a custom. And if you're trading the max contracts, which is 10 on a 50K account, you're going to want to go for 16 points, as in 64 ticks. And then you could risk whatever. You're basically risking blowing out. So you're probably going to want to have an ATM strategy already set up for you. And then not a minute before, but I would say seconds before, like at 159.50 on half your accounts, you hit buy market. And then on the other half of the accounts with the ATM setup, you'd hit a sell market. I do better explain that, though, in the video that's in the description of how to easily pass. But a full minute, the market can move quite a bit in a minute going into a big event. I would say do it like seconds before, 10 seconds, 7 seconds. Half of them do the buy, half of them do the sell, set up the ATM. Friendly neighborhood reminder, you cannot do that whatsoever on performance accounts. You can only do that on evals. If they catch you doing that on performance accounts, they will not give you the payouts, but they don't care if you do it on evals. Matt, would you be proud of me? My coworker thinks XRP is going to 10,000 a coin in 2 years. I called him a retard and that no one will ever love him. Are you proud of me? I don't think I've ever been more proud of anyone else. That is beautiful. A coworker. You're just sitting there in the meeting and you're like, hey, by the way, you retard. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. I've traded 4 of the strategies thus far, and one more is going to trade for sure. So I can, at this point, I know 5 are going to at minimum fire, but that 6th one, it depends on if the setup is there. Before, a little bit ago, when I was telling you about the VWAP one, theoretically, that one doesn't have to trade every day. It does trade most days, but that's like one of the ones that's in question. Like maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. You just don't know. So I know one of them will still fire out of my strategies here, but they're theoretically, I could trade 2 more. But thus far, pretty good. The spread is wild. My best account running the same strategy is 510, while my worst one is 185. But on Apex alone, I'm up $5,000, so I'll take that. $5,000 day. Not bad. Not bad. If they catch you trading your accounts against one another, they don't not pay you, but they disabled those accounts. Potentially, it depends on if you have good reasoning for your strategies. You like it. It will that is a risk, but it kind of depends on the conversation you have with the company. But once again, that's only if you're doing it on performance accounts. Does not matter on evals. I want to make that very, very clear. It only matters on PA accounts. It only matters on quote unquote funded accounts. Does not have an impact to you. Oh shit. All right. I think I might be running into a bit of a pickle here. I just realized something about my 2 strategies that theoretically we're getting late enough in the day that they might fire at the same time, and I do not want that to happen. I do not want that to happen. Am I wrong? Am I being paranoid? Could they fire? Because if they fire at the same time, I'm going to be taking double the position I want, and I don't want to do that. Obviously, I don't want to do that. Okay, I might be in a bit of a pickle here, Dick. I might be in a bit of a pickle. Let me think. Remember, this isn't a real account. It's just some stupid data issue. It's just some dumb data issue. And you could tell that because there's nothing in the unrealized. It just didn't get rid of it. It got the fill on the VWAP breakdown. I probably should have went short again at 10:02 here when it failed at VWAP. This white dash line is the volume weighted average price. So this would have been a beautiful trade right there. 80 at one point. You could have just targeted the intraday low down to 55. That's a nice 25 points right there. That's $500 per NQ contract. Easy peasy, folks. Just keep it to a system. Understand the system's not going to hit every time, but just be dogmatic in sticking exactly to your system. That's the only way you could fairly collect data on this whole thing. It's the only way you could fairly collect data. I'm nervous, dude, about this. Are they going to both fire? A little bit of a pop there. Once again, there's support at 55. So a little spurt of aggressive buying just came in, but is this going to be like the last stand at the Alamo? The last stand before Davy Crockett catches a musket ball in his face. Who's going to short SoFi with me? Why would you short SoFi? It just had really good earnings with momentum and retail like interest. Why you're shorting it just because it's up? If you're buying something just because it's down, or if you're shorting something just because it's up, that's a very, very dangerous thing. Like a very dangerous thing, to the point, why the fuck would you do that? Like, if you're going to short it. But, I mean, you better have better reasoning than just because it's up. Especially after earnings. It just, like, 2-cent beat, amazing. Well, that's a little embarrassing that you think that's necessarily how it's measured.
Order submitted.
Fuck. Did I just get a bad fill? If you're just looking at how much it beat EPS on, that's like, what the fuck? How is this possible? It hit my
order filled.
I don't understand. Like, it hit it, but didn't get the fill. And then I just got a partial fill. Like, someone needs to explain to me what the fuck's going on with this data, because it got in, went to it, no fill,
Order
bounced,
filled.
and then took. Like, I'm happy I made money, obviously, but like, something with this data, man, I just don't fucking get it. I just don't get it. Anyway, I think I avoided the double trade. I have one more that could fire, and then I'll be done for the day. But anyway, back to this conversation about SoFi. If you're shorting it, like, if you're only like, no, it's up because it beat EPS by 2 cents. Obviously, it's up for something bigger than that. That is like way too rudimentary of a way to approach the market. And like, I mean, you could heed my warning or not, but you're going to lose money. Like, if you keep trading like that, it's only a matter of time before you blow out, unfortunately. And I don't say that to be mean. If anything, I'm attempting to say that to save you money and prompt you to be a bit more like realistic about what is a good trading strategy or not. But if your trading strategy is, nope, it's up, so I'm going to short it, and you think that the earnings were bad, obviously the market disagrees with you. You are clearly in the minority if you think that the earnings were bad, because the stock is up by 17%. That you're so obviously like, and remember what trading is. Trading is a voting mechanism. This is a famous Warren Buffett saying, but in the short term, it's a voting mechanism. In the long term, it's a weighing mechanism. So right now, in the short term, the market has voted that it was good to the point of, nope, it is now up by 17%. So if you're sitting there and saying, no, I'm voting now that it's going down, you're wrong. The market voted against you. You were not on the right side of the vote. You were clearly not on the right side of the vote. So, I mean, like I said, it's your money. Do what you want. I take no responsibility for it whatsoever. And more importantly, I'm not your mom. But I mean, I see this time and time again, time and time again. I'll let you know when I make money on it. I hope you do make money on it. I do. I'm not hoping that anyone loses money unless you're betting against my active plays, but I have no play on just a day trade. That's even worse. That's even worse, dude. Just a day trade? What the fuck? That's stupid. I would have at least had me okay, cool. There's an argument on a medium term swing that there's mean reversion and it's up 17. So even if it drops 3 down to 14, you made 3%. That's somewhat of an argument. But as a day trade, that's just fucking stupid. You're fighting clearly you're fighting everything. The options market is bullish on it. The equities market is bullish on it. The price structure is, but everything about it is bullish. And you're nah, it's a day trade down. That's just fucking stupid. I hope you make it, but I also pray you improve your strategy going forward. Of course, even with the horrible setups, being dealt a 7-2 offsuit, you can still win. Yeah, theoretically, you could still win. I don't know what's going to happen in the next bar, but are you making a smart bet? Is it a smart bet when playing blackjack to hit on a 20? No, it's not. How's it stupid? It hit resistance. You're fighting everything. I literally just went over the entire list of why it's fucking stupid. The earnings were bullish. They beat. The equities market reacted in a bullish fashion. The options market reacted in a bullish fashion. The options market is supportive underneath and bullish above on SoFi specifically. And even on the intraday period, it's making higher highs and higher lows. It's just fucking dumb. I don't know. It's just stupid. Can you make money? Yes, I am by no means saying you can't make money. You can definitely make money. Is it likely you make money? No. Is it likely that you are net profitable continuing this strategy into the future? Even less so. Anything can happen in the market. You never know the next bar. You never know the next card. You don't know what's going to be going on. You just don't. But you got to be better moving forward. You have to have a more robust system than, it hit resistance. Clearly not, dude. It is up 17%. 17%. I think you just too many people. I've noticed there's two cohorts of people in retail trading. There's people who severely overcomplicate it and some people who severely undercomplicate it. So this thing is you severely undercomplicated what trading is. You think exclusively because it's up, it has to come down. How did it hit resistance? Because it's at an all-time high? Have you ever heard of a thing called a breakout? Hang on, maybe I'll search it. I don't know if this is a common thing. I know I've been trading for a while, so maybe this is a foreign thing. But the anatomy of it's this thing called a breakout where you come up to recent levels where it was and then it goes through. Have you guys heard of this before? It's where something previously it was a high, previously it was a high, previously it was a high. And then on one of those attempts, it actually goes high. Have you heard of that? I know it's a little bit foreign. I know it's a little bit out there. I know it's kind of, I don't know. It's I don't know. It might be a secret of trading but maybe it's a market maker dark pool thing. I don't know. It's pretty advanced. I don't really like to get into it on the show here because there's generally a lot of questions and a lot of confusion and a lot of what is that? Who is that? How is she? That type of a thing. And so generally we just talk about it in the mastermind course of the Discord because it's super, super advanced. And generally it leads into a more in-depth conversation of on the flip side, you have these things called breakdowns. And that's where it's the opposite. And follow me on this. But imagine you hit a low, bounce off of it, hit a low, bounce off of it, hit the same low, bounce off of it. But in one of those attempts, You don't bounce. You actually keep going down. That's referred to as a breakdown. It's fucking nuts, dude. It's pretty crazy stuff. Pretty crazy stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of people paying attention to that. And do you know why rum is puking the last couple of days? Yeah, because people are buying and selling it at a lower price than the previous day. You're going to have to ask them why they're buying and selling it at a lower price. Why is our transactions going through? I don't know why people are transacting it at a lower price. Like I said, you're going to have to ask them. Is this guy always an asshole? I guess he can't help himself. I don't know. We'll leave that one up to the chat. Chat, am I always an asshole, or can I just not help myself? I don't know. Stupid questions. Like, this is what I don't get. And it's uniquely funny that it's coming from Rumble. All these guys, I'm about free speech and fucking take my guns from me. And I'm a fucking hardcore blue. I bleed blue, red, and white. I'm a fucking American. And then yet you guys end up being the biggest fucking pussies. Like, seriously. Oh my God. He doesn't agree with my trade. Like, it's not my fault. Like, as much as Rumble is like, oh no, we are the free speech people. How fucking often are you guys just like the like literal cheerleaders of participation trophies? This is what you get. This is what you get. All these fucking guys. You can't say that about me. I'm right. Fucking pussies. No. Free speech. This is America. As long as you say something that hurts my feelings, then we have a problem. Boo, 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 Mom. Mom, the guy on the internet hurt my feelings. I did something stupid and he said so. Can we sue him? Can we sue him, Mommy? He hurt my feelings. I need my blankie right now. I need my blankie. I need my blankie. Jesus Christ. America. Oh, Jesus. I get it. I'm sorry for hurting your feelings, Rumble. I apologize. I should have had more respect for your emotional state, no matter how fragile it was or wasn't. It wasn't appropriate of me to make fun of it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My bad. I didn't mean it. I should have been the bigger person. Did someone say something verifiably retarded? Yes. But that doesn't make me a good person for pointing it out. I wouldn't stare at a disabled person in public. That's akin to pointing it out, and that's rude to do. So I probably shouldn't have pointed out that this person... Like, the way you don't stare at a disabled person in public, you shouldn't call out a retarded person in chat. And for that, I'm sorry. I wasn't me. I was on Ambien at the time. I was on Ambien, and my cat stole my phone. My cat, who was also on Ambien, stole my phone while I was on Ambien, but the cat and I were on different Ambiens. We have our own prescription. So I don't... Matt definitely uses the N-word. Oh my God, dude. Holy shit, that went from 0 to 100. Oh, Jesus. Jesus, man. I forget it. That was old me. I was young and dumb when I said that. But now that I'm older, I can realize I was immature at that moment that I said that. I can realize that I should have been better. I will be better. We've done nothing now. AMD's going up. Uh-oh. Don't look now, but SoFi's going up. Don't look now. Don't look now. Mag 7's pretty much flat ever since 1007. S&P 500 is kind of tilting down. 5-minute momentum, 10-minute momentum. Ooh, 30 minutes actually breaking down. Let's see if it can save itself. Let's see which way this 30-minute bar breaks. But that's not necessarily so bueno. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. 5-minute, 10-minute bearish on the NASDAQ. 30-minute did dip its toes into the bearish territory, but bounced right off of it. It looks like 50. Key psychological level. Also the 50 EMA on the 30-minute. Also the 50 EMA. Right, we'll move that down. But watching this, we also can track some of this real-time stuff. Quite a bit of support at 45. A lot of sitting buy orders at 23545. Once again, sorry, I am blocking this. I will move myself over here. My balls are like balloons this morning. Interesting. Interesting vibe. You probably should get, I'm like not a doctor. I don't know. Like, I don't think you guys should be coming to me for medical advice. I'll happily give it. I'm not saying it's good, but like it really, really feels like you should probably see a doctor about that one. What is ES? ES is the S&P 500 futures contract. NQ is the NASDAQ futures contract. CL is the oil futures contract. GC is the gold futures contract. YM is the Dow futures contract. RTY is the Russell futures contract. Those are the main ones that people talk about. What's ES look like? On the heat map stuff, it looks like this. Buyer stepping in at 6426, which is pretty much the intraday low. Same thing on the NQ. They're stepping in at the intraday low. So we have sitting buy orders pretty much at the low. Will it hold? We're about to find out. Your guess is as good as mine. There's a little bit of a waterfall this morning, lackluster buying back up, and right now, just not much one way or the other. Recently, a little bit more bearishness, but like I said, down here, you have some buyers at 6426. On NQ, let me zoom out just so you guys can kind of see more of a holistic picture. Decent amount of buying, not as much as you'd think. Good amount of selling, lackluster buying, and now we're just here. There's some resistance right above at 570, 575, and then there's support down here at 45, which is that intraday low. So we have some key levels to definitely be paying attention to. Yeah, got some resistance right there, 70, 71, but quite a bit of buying at 45. A lot of bit of buying at 45. What is cattle futures? Live cattle. That's a good question. I forget off the top of my head. It's something weird. LE. I always thought it should be LC, but it is not. It is LE. And live cattle has been ripping. What the fuck? Why are we not just buying live cattle? Folks, live cattle's been on a 5-year fucking ripper. And really, since 2024, it's been on a 1.5-year ripper. What are we doing with our lives? We could have all retired by now if we just bought some cows, brother. Some fucking, that's all we need. Why are we not doing this? How's coffee? Coffee's KC. Coffee was ripping until April. Now it's coming down. This might have been some trade confusion. Frozen orange juice. Frozen orange juice was squeezing, and then orange juice had a huge hit. What about sugar? Sugar. Also, sugar's coming down. Interesting. NG, natural gas. NG, big pop, big drop. I cannot believe. Land's End? No, give me cattle. Don't give me fucking Land's End. Dude, how much is cattle up? Year to date, it's up 17%. The old heifers are ripping it. AMD's going, folks. AMD's going. AVGO's picking up a little bit. NVIDIA, not so much. Microsoft maybe basing. Palantir maybe picking back up. Tesla not looking the best. Apple sold off flat. Coinbase sold off flat. ASML sold off flat. So AMD's looking pretty good. Avago's looking pretty good. AMD's actually crushing it right now. Did I look at TLT? Why do you want me to look at bonds? It's been boring as shit, dude. Maybe a breakout, maybe a higher low. You'd be obviously lower highs, lower lows. The TLT, for those of you who don't know, is the 20-year treasury. It's an ETF with 20-year treasuries. You're basically looking for it to take out this recent high to confirm finally higher highs and higher lows. But really, up until now, we just have lower highs and lower lows, which with a potential higher low here for the first time in a while on Wednesday, July the 16th. AMD's pippity popping. The Avago's pippity popping. How's AMD's long term? Oh, holy shit. So before, you know, when I was talking about that super advanced concept referred to as breakout, well, this would actually be an example. And now I know I'm going to blow a lot of your fucking minds right now. But you see how previously, in early October of 2024, AMD peaked at 174 and then had a severe sell-off? Well, you see, we got up to 174 yesterday. And then that brings up the question. Resistance, breakout, what's going on? And then fucking blindsided, like Michael Orr just ripped it. So I know, like, we just explained this super advanced concept, but since we did talk about it, and I know that this is a fire hose of information for you folks, but this would actually be an example of what I was referring to before as a breakout, because see how it went above? So like, you know how we all took karate class when we were like 8 years old, and sometimes you had to break a board to go from like a white belt to like a green belt or some shit like that, and you were breaking through it. Now imagine that, but in the equities market with price. You see how it snapped the board with like a flying judo kick right there? It's pretty much the exact same thing. Pretty much the exact same thing. Matt, will you please talk about the upcoming Figma IPO? Yeah, don't touch it. If you IPOs 9 times out of 10, probably actually higher percent than 90%, do not go well buying on day one. Trading on day one, you're inherently trading with no data. You're just ripping it. When by the time it's publicly released, you're paying a huge premium relative to everyone else who got in before the release. I don't know. Find an example for me of an IPO that held its initial value and just kept going. I deeply, deeply, deeply believe, and the data would suggest it, that you can get a better long position fill than the initial like debut to the market. So if you're trading the Figma IPO, I don't know, good luck. Once again, it's not statistically a smart play. It's like random ass gambling. But hey, if you want to be a random ass gambler, have at it. I'm not your mom. You can do whatever you want. Robinhood did. No, it didn't. Robinhood went down quite a bit. That really? KXSH music, that was your big dunk on me that I don't know what I'm talking about? Yeah, no, it totally didn't open at 35, rip to 85, and then go down to $6. I'm just fucking blind. I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, no. You got me there. You got fucking, you guys, I got. You guys finally pulled one over on me. You pulled one over on me. I'll never be able to recover. I'll never be able to. The SPY getting close to its intraday low. The bottom point is if you're going to do the IPO thing and you're an active trader, like in and out day trading, scalp trading, have at it. There's a lot of volatility. There's a range. If you like the company, is that a point to invest? No, probably not. The odds suggest this. Of course, you could find individual counterexamples, but generically across the board, it is better to just have patience if you're looking to invest in it. And as for the question of swing trading, so we've talked about scalping, we've talked about investing. What about medium-term swing trading? That is like literally purely gambling. Like you have swing trading generally is going to be based off of the recent trend of whatever you're talking about. By the definition of it making its public debut, its initial public offering, you have no data to go off of. So it's just pure gambling. Pure gambling. So if you do it, as always, I'm not your mom. I wish you the best of luck. But if you want to survive this game, generally you have to make smarter decisions. All right, so the SPY just made a new intraday low, and the SPX also did. So we're pushing a bit lower right now. Ooh, options just started dumping here at 1041. The Mag 7's picking up, though. The NASDAQ just turned south. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. These buyers disappeared. That's interesting. They stopped. They pulled their orders. They were there trying to buy at 45, and that protection is gonzo. It was there from 1031 to 1045, and they pulled those orders. They never got that fill. SpaghettiOs, you guys better call Chef Boyardee, because those buy orders are not there. Alert the press. Call your mom. Call your grandma. Everyone should literally call their grandma right now and say, Grandma, the sitting buy orders at 23545 are gone as of 1045. Help. You should, if you're not calling your grandmas right now, you don't know. She might have picked up trading NQ. You don't know what she gets up to. Your grandma has a life of her own. She's not just your meemaw. She might trade. She might be a degenerate. She might be ripping cigs with the boys. You don't know. She's dead. Oh. Well, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Maybe call someone else's grandma then. That would not be ideal. I wonder if these sitting buy orders ended up just doing market buys, because the second they pulled these orders, we had aggressive buying hit, like literally right after. They pulled these orders from 45, once again, sitting buy orders, and then we saw aggressive buying. I wonder if there's no way to definitively know because we're seeing the positioning in aggregate. We don't know the individual players, but I don't think it's the most outlandish thing of seeing how this played out. These got pulled, and then right after that, it got pulled at 45, and then at 45 in a couple seconds, 15 seconds later, we had aggressive buying. Time will tell. Time will tell. The SPY didn't really go that far. AMD's looking good. Avago's looking decent. The Mag 7's still pushing now. We're actually almost back up to that 958 high. SPY's still getting hit, though. NASDAQ isn't looking so good. But the Mag 7, look at that. That's popping. They're selling puts and buying calls. It's the old twofer. Sell calls, buy puts, doubly bullish. We're adding positive gamma, removing negative gamma. Buying calls. No, sorry. We are adding positive delta, removing negative delta. And then we are actually adding negative gamma, most likely, to the situation. With a couple assumptions. Spam risk is calling me. The old spam risk. I invested in NVIDIA at 93 on Liberation Day. I'm pleased. You should be stoked, dude. That's a sick investment. That's a sick investment. All right. Just in case there are questions, I just want to do this now instead of at the stream. Remember, Apex, this is the final day. 14 hours left, 14 hours, 13 minutes, and 27 seconds to get 90% off with the code Goonie. 1 day pass. This is tied with the best deal that they've ever offered. So if you want more accounts or if you want to try this out, like I said, pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video, do not forget to apply that code to actually get the discount. And honestly, the fact that I'm bringing it up now, are there questions? Questions, confusions, anything like that of sim defunded in general, Apex specifically? Do you have any confusions with the payout rules, with the pass eval rules, with the rules in general? There's 2 different 30% rules, larger ones. What the fuck is sim defunded? More specific ones of how many days you have to trade. What do you guys need? Let me help me help you. You tell me what confusion you guys have, and I will do my best to assuage any confusion. AMD crushing. Yeah, AMD's having a great day. It's up 4%. Even Avago's having a good day. Frozen peas for lunch. No, I've been trying to eat salad for lunch, and by trying to eat, I did it for the first time yesterday, and I'm already realizing that I kind of hate my life. I got a question for you, Matt. Are you my dad? I don't think so. Can I borrow your keys? Yes. How long can we not trade on TPT for a news event? Single minute, or is it a larger window? It's the minute before and the minute after. So if the event's at 8:30 in the morning, you can't trade from 8:29 to 8:31. Why am I retarded? Probably genetics. I don't know. Maybe you just unfortunately did not, like, maybe you hit the bad genetic lottery. Also, there could be various nature related things. Like maybe you hit your head as a child. I tried to buy AMC back in April and I accidentally fat fingered trade and got AMD instead. Now I'm rich. Congratulations. How much does it cost to get a funded account with the discount? Is there a time limit for the expiration of the account? No. So the time limit is to buy the eval, but you can have that eval as long as you want. You will get charged $35 a month from now if you don't pass within a month. And then when you do pass the test, you have 2 options for the upgrade fee. You could do a one-time fee of $140 or a monthly fee of $85. So theoretically, you could get away with this. Like you could go from a eval account to a funded account. You could do it within a day and it will cost you like $102. Does Sydney Sweeney have good genes? Can someone explain that to me? I saw that everyone started freaking out about Sydney Sweeney and they were calling her like a Nazi and shit. I don't understand. I'm really out of, I'm in the dark. I'm out of my depth on that one. Why are they all of a sudden freaking out? Because they have good genes?
Order submitted.
Like, what the fuck? Oh, it was so delayed for the fill that it came after? Dude, sometimes this shit is real slow. Like, that's what I'm saying is, like, I don't think it's necessarily malicious. I just don't think
Order filled.
they're necessarily that good. I'm done. All 6 of mine fired. Read them and weep. I made $920 on the best account. I made $905, $920, $905. There's another take profit. The worst one made $250. Oh, wait, no. $590. $590. I stopped trading this one because I somehow fucked it up. But anyway, a large range once again today. My worst account trading the exact same strategy made $590. We'll call it $600. And a lot of them are in the 600s. And then yet my best one, $920, $905, $860. So about a $250 difference trading the exact same strategy across many accounts. So I wish it were a wee bit better. I might try a different trade copier just because obviously I haven't been the most stoked about this one. Have not been the most stoked, but that's it for me. All the strategies fired. This has been a very painful journey over the past couple of weeks, but I really do feel like I'm honing in on what I need to be doing. I really, really do. The net results thus far are, well, let's break it down. I can't trade those ones. This one's looking good, 155. So I'm up 5.3K on this account. That's pretty sick. This account has passed. So I passed 1, I passed 2, I passed 3, I passed 4, I passed 5. So as of today, I've officially passed 5 take profit accounts with the strategies. Purely algorithmic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So all 5 of those are passed. I think I just need to maybe trade for one more day or something like that. 3 of them are definitely past. The other 2, I either need to trade for one day or they've already passed. So the algos did officially pass those for me. With respect to Apex, Apex, none of them have passed yet, but they are very close. As in, if I repeat today, tomorrow, a lot of them will pass because you just need to get above 3K. And right here, do I want to manually trade these just so they're upgraded by tomorrow? I mean, some of them are really close. Like this one's only $100 away. This one's 200, 200, 200, 200. That's slippage for you. 300, 300, 300. Probably not. I'll probably just trade them again tomorrow and I'll just let the systems do this. This is where I always get caught. It's always those little thoughts like that of like, well, like what if I just do something right here? That's where it gets dangerous, folks. That's where it gets dangerous. And then it was my first day on this account. The funding ticks. I'm up 250. I need to figure out what the problem is there. I have a couple extra take profits that are just buns in the oven. And then I have new Tradeify accounts that are both up 800. This is the first day of trading them. That's where we're at, folks. Definitely manually trade those. You know, that's always, I always go back to that reasoning, and it pretty much recently at least has been ending in disaster. So let me safely close out. Unlike yesterday when I didn't safely close out. All right, I'm just pulling, like yesterday I disconnected, reconnected, and I had all these issues. So let me just, I know it shows in a position, but the fact that there's no unrealized gains means I'm actually not in a position. So let me just disconnect from everything. Disconnect, 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 disconnect. All right. All right, so this one's good. Just reconnected, no position. The take profits are good, just reconnected, no position. So funding ticks is good. Tradeify is good, and Apex is good. We're good to go. We rocked it. Another successful day in the world's largest casino. I'll be able to walk out of the casino today with my head held high. We did crack that, though. Jesus. All right, we got the downside gap fill on the Qs. That's not so good. Downside gap fill on the Qs, and we actually hit the closing value on the SPY. So the support zone, as of right now, we have not seen those buyers step in. Any opinion on TradeSync? I have heard of it. I have not used it, so no opinion. Do you have any opinions? Should I get it? Should I not get it? I needed a better copier. I need to at least try getting a better copier. American Eagle ad and interchanging jeans with jeans. Wait, people are trying to say she doesn't have good jeans in either. Like, why is that bad? What? Why would saying she has good genes, as in biological genes, be a bad thing to say? She does have good genes. We that's like a common turn of phrase. Like, certain people have good genes. Fucking Saquon Barkley has good genes. Guys built like an Adonis. Like DJ Metcalf, good genes. Einstein, good gene. Like, what are we doing here? People, we say that all the time. Why is that a bad thing? Somebody said that has two lazy eyes. Somebody said she has two lazy eyes, and I believe them. I don't think she does because she's white. So what? If you're white, you can't have good genes? Mostly the fact that she apparently made 200 million. She wasn't paid 200 million. That's how much the stock went up in reaction. Because she said she has good genes, and because she is white, they are saying she is a Nazi. Because they're jealous. Apparently she did an American Eagle ad that somehow glorified domestic violence and racism. Jesus fucking Christ. People need to get... They need to find something better to do with their life. Blonde hair, blue eyes, white girl. To the left equates to Nazi. They are jealous and hateful of those who are beautiful and successful. I mean, isn't that by its own definition racism? If we're exclusively equating beauty to a particular skin tone? Like, call me fucking crazy, but couldn't anyone of any race have good genes? Like, that's just luck of the draw. Some people are born taller, smarter, more athletic. And then there's unfortunately people who aren't born so lucky. Like, it's just fucking, it's the hand you're dealt, man. I give zero fucks if she has 8 lazy eyes. She's fine as fuck. Imagine if she did have 8 lazy eyes. I think you'd have a slightly different opinion on her. She's like some dumbass looking spider. 8 lazy eyes. No, that's fine. Oh, what a fucking sight that would be. I have a feeling we would not have the same opinion of her if she had 8 lazy eyes. Oh, dude. Oh, my God. That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, Jesus. That's good. All right. The Mag 7's popping like no other. The NASDAQ maybe's double bottoming as we got that downside gap fill. The SPY still looks kind of painful, but it recently got a pop. But anyway, in terms of cleaning up the chart, the SPY did hit its high from yesterday in the closing value. The Qs got their downside gap fill to the high from yesterday. And now we're just kind of waiting. Now we're just kind of waiting on that. All right. Anyway, that's it for me. Remember, today's your final day, 90% off Apex with that code Goonie. And then also, if you're interested for things like Bookmap, or if you're interested in things like Spot Gamma for options flow, it's all in the description of the video. Click on those links and you'll get a fat discount. Anyway, folks, that's what I have for you. It was a successful day here with Skynet. I hope you guys are all having an even more successful day. And just remember that tomorrow is going to be a big day with the FOMC announcement in the afternoon. Yes, we will be doing a specialty stream. So we'll stream in the morning tomorrow and also do the Jerome Powell speech and the Fed interest rate decision announcement tomorrow afternoon. So between now and then, we'll post another update video just to get everyone ready. And then make sure you're checking that out on both Rumble and YouTube. Make sure your notifications are on and don't forget to subscribe. And then we'll be streaming tomorrow morning. So update video tonight, streaming tomorrow morning, and streaming tomorrow afternoon. That is the short-term plan. That's what I have for you guys. I appreciate the good vibes. I hope you made a lot of money, and I hope you make even more money in the remainder of the day, or stick to your plan and walk away and go touch some grass and enjoy the sunshine. Do whatever your trading plan tells you to do. That's what I have for you. Thank you. Peace.